Billions of dollars being spent each year to secure our border with Mexico. As individuals and entire families try to make the U.S. their new home, Border Patrol agents say they are working harder than ever to keep them out.
Yeah, and while there's increased attention to secure Mexico border, well, Florida's coastal border is wide open, and that open border is under siege. CBS 12 News investigates. AJ Walker is here with an investigation, Crisis on the Coast.
This is nighttime video from Border Patrol of a boat full of migrants being smuggled into Palm Beach County. Experts tell us these now frequent, fearless attempts to get into the U.S. illegally through Florida are going to start happening more often, creating a more insecure border. As the Trump administration continues a severe crackdown on illegal immigration, Border Patrol facilities on the southern border are bursting at the seams.
When you can't get in one place, you're going to look for another opportunity.
CBS 12 Investigates found with heightened security at our southern border, there's an anticipated increase in people trying to enter the U.S. illegally through Florida. Border Patrol is requesting more funding for Florida, and Customs and Border Protection is looking at how to train more agents for air surveillance that would spot migrants and mules before they reach our shores.
And you know, the Gulf Stream is here.
Lisa Ruth, the former CIA officer who specializes in intelligence and security, says even with what is now billions of dollars being spent to secure Florida's border, it's not enough.
It would require a financial and human investment that it's just unrealistic. You really can't secure this border.
Even if you have the Coast Guard out there, you know, they do a great job. And then you have Air and Marine Operations, and they do a great job. Then you have the Border Patrol. It would still be a difficult mission to say that we've stopped every boat coming in that's smuggling people and contraband.
Border Patrol agent Peter Daniel takes on this mission every day. Some days it pays off more than others. This footage of 19 migrants being smuggled by boat to Fisher Island near Miami shows how quick and easy it is to get into the U.S. through Florida. Border Patrol says with the help of local police, they caught 18 of the 19 migrants and turned them over to ICE for removal. But for every capture, there's an unknown number of migrants who make it across and stay.
This landing site here, located at Ocean Reef Park in West Palm Beach, is a great example of how smugglers can use boats after they depart the Bahamas with illegal aliens or contraband and make landfall right here in the United States, right here on the Florida beach undetected.
What are the key tools that they need in terms of trying to secure this border?
Yeah, I would say intelligence. The single most important thing is going to be intelligence. You would get that through the Bahamas or through anybody who's running them across.
Both Ruth and Daniel suggest keeping a close eye on the Bahamas because of its close proximity to Florida. They say many migrants go to the far northwest corner of Grand Bahama Island and pay smugglers to take them by boat 60 miles straight across to Palm Beach County.
Looking for one boat in the entire vast ocean is like looking for a needle in a haystack. That is one of the biggest challenges we have, is just the sheer size of our area.
Our research found there are only 130 border agents patrolling the 1,200 miles of Florida coast. Compare that to a 1,200-mile distance on our southern border, there are 11,000 border agents patrolling. Fewer resources makes it harder for Border Patrol agents to stop migrants from sneaking across Florida's border, and it makes the Sunshine State a much more attractive option than the Mexican border. Border Patrol also works closely with their counterpart Air and Marine Operations and the U.S. Coast Guard to stop migrant smuggling. But it isn't just people looking to make the U.S. their home illegally that has counterintelligence so concerned. Tomorrow, we'll take a look at the increase in drug smuggling into our coast. For CBS 12 News Investigates, I'm AJ Walker.
With the increase of security at the southern border with Mexico, experts say drug smugglers will look for other ways to get their product into the U.S.
Yeah, smugglers are actually moving large amounts of drugs throughout Florida, and it's much easier to do because of our wide open border.
CBS 12 News Investigates AJ Walker discovered the problem is expected to get worse. It's tonight's Crisis on the Coast.
When it comes to the southern border with Mexico, Homeland Security says they're better staffed today than at any time in their 88-year history. But with so many resources going to the southern border, too few are coming here, leaving Florida exposed.
Hey, bring another roll over here, start bouncing it out.
More wired fencing and boots on the ground as heightened security at the southern border between the U.S. and Mexico gets unprecedented attention and resources. And according to Customs and Border Protection, it's working. Their latest busts include more than $2 million worth of meth seized at a checkpoint in the Rio Grande Valley earlier this month, both at a time when there's increased security at the southern border.
You are clear, brother.
Much less attention is being paid to Florida's border. It's surrounded by 1,200 miles of coastline, and smuggling drugs into the U.S. by boat is the prime way of getting around the heavily guarded southern border.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people laying down in the back of the boat.
CBS 12 investigates found with heightened security at the southern border, the drug trafficking problem in Florida is expected to get worse as smugglers seek out new, less risky routes of bringing drugs into the U.S.
You really can't secure this border.
Lisa Ruth is a former CIA officer who specializes in intelligence and security.
I anticipate that we'll see more drugs, more guns, more human trafficking, and illegal immigrants coming through. It's just such a well-established transit route that we're going to see those coming back again, and they already have started.
The Department of Homeland Security says they increased the number of boots on the ground on the border with Mexico to 18,500 Border Patrol agents, more than double what they had 20 years ago, while Florida only has 130 Border Patrol agents guarding our entire coastline.
You look out here, where are you going to have a police presence? And you're talking about miles and miles and miles of coastline.
3 federal agencies work hand in hand to guard our state. The Coast Guard.
Are we in the right spot at the right time?
Air and Marine Operations.
Easy access in, easy access out.
And Border Patrol.
It's a crime of opportunity.
All work together around the clock to try and stop drugs from coming in.
We see people, we see narcotics, cocaine, we see marijuana. We see any type of contraband that they could bring in unlawfully into the U.S. because this is the border.
I thought it was coming from that boat.
Air and Marine Operations works to stop smugglers before they ever reach the shore.
How important is your job, do you think, to the security of our country?
Paramount. Paramount.
Today, Agent Alejandro Rodriguez and his crew are looking for threats offshore, and we're along for the ride.
We're looking for vessels coming in from foreign, vessels that could be possibly defrauding, smuggling money outbound, smuggling narcotics or goods inbound, anything that's going to defraud the United States.
The U.S. Coast Guard also patrols our wide-open borders. Lieutenant Joshua Tucker and his crew looked for boats that might be carrying drugs and other contraband in from the Bahamas.
A lot of the vessels that are up to nefarious activities will actually blend in with normal recreational boating traffic.
In February of this year, this innocent-looking boat was interdicted by the Coast Guard carrying 128 pounds of cocaine. So far this year, the Coast Guard stopped about 90 tons of cocaine valued at $2.5 billion from entering the U.S. This video from the Coast Guard reveals what they're up against. Mounds of cocaine that would have made its way into the United States. And now, with it being harder for smugglers to get drugs through the southern border with Mexico, more will come here, likely making their job even harder. In fiscal year 2018, the Department of Homeland Security's $85 million grant called Operation Stone Garden gave 73% of that money to just 4 states along the southern border with Mexico. For CBS 12 News Investigates, I'm AJ Walker.